whose body is lying in state in the US Capitol Rotunda. And British MPs are to vote on whether the government is in contempt of Parliament by not publishing the full legal advice it's received about the Prime Minister's Brexit deal. Well, let's go live to Westminster once again. My colleague Kasia Madeira is there. Kasia, over to you.
Sally, many thanks. Well, we're talking about dramatic days yesterday here at Westminster. Today, yet another dramatic day because, of course, we were expecting to start the day by discussing the debate, the start of this 5 days of debate about Theresa May's deal, which will be voted on in a week's time today. In fact, we are talking about the impact of this contempt of Parliament that has been motioned forward, and that is, in fact, what MPs are going to be discussing. And we're describing this as a tussle, as a fight between Parliament flexing its muscles and the government. A fascinating insight, but of course ultimately we need to know how this is going to affect everyday people in every walks of life, and the business industry is really concerned about what is going on. Uncertainty, we all know, Sally, we talk about it a lot, that business does not like uncertainty. I'm joined by Brian Connell. He's a supply expert from KPMG. Again, I don't want to use that phrase dramatic, but I've got to. What's been going on there? What concerns do you have with what MPs are deciding, what they're debating about, what you saw yesterday?
I think businesses and the businesses we work with spend most of their time worrying about the uncertainty, and in particular trying to make sure that they have enough product in place in the UK so that if there are disruptions, if we do end up with difficulties as we come out of the EU, then at least we've got products in place to satisfy their own customers.
How do you put that contingency planning into place then when there are so many uncertainties?
Many businesses have been working at this for a little while now, and they've taken the view, many of them, that there won't be enough certainty, and when there is, it'll be too late. So they've created plans based on their forecasts of the future, and some businesses even have a programme that says we're creating our own certainty. That's the name of the projects that they're giving it.
Are you feeling that businesses, when you're talking to your fellow colleagues, are they confident in what is happening in terms of the political circles?
I think many of them find it quite baffling, to be honest, and the businesses who are based away from the UK but have got a presence here find it even more confusing. I mean, bluntly, it is quite a complicated process, and for that reason they focus more on their own businesses, on their own contingency plans, and try and leave the politicians to themselves. That said, they really would like a deal to be done, and they'd like a deal to be done as soon as possible. And
when it comes to, of course, workers, we were talking about migration figures recently, the European migration dropping, the rest of the world coming, levelling that out. Are they getting the workforce they need?
I think at the moment, but it's been getting very tight, and particularly tight in different sectors. Issues like drivers, for example, there's been a structural shortage in the UK for many years anyway. It'll be very interesting to see for people who maybe go back after Christmas or for a Christmas break, whether everybody returns. But let's be in no doubt, in certain sectors there is a real shortage already, and we'll see that coming through wage increases.
Brian, in that case, many thanks for taking the time to speak to us. Brian Connell from KPMG, of course, just an insight there into how businesses are tackling and coping with this uncertainty. And of course, later on today, we're going to hear a lot more about what is going to be happening in the Palace of Westminster behind us. Initially starting with that debate about the contempt of Parliament motion, and then finally going on to the debate itself about Theresa May's Brexit deal, which of course parliamentarians will be voting on Tuesday next week, before it then goes, of course, back to Brussels.
Thank you, Kasia. We will see you later. But now let's take a look at other stories. The biggest exercise of military robots in British history is underway, with remote-controlled tanks among 70 new weapon systems being tested out. The 4-week war game, dubbed Exercise Autonomous Warrior, features a host of drones